All right, there was a shooting in the French Quarter of New Orleans earlier this morning. 10 people were shot. The New Orleans Police Department said in the statement that officers are investigating the incident, which took place shortly before 3:30 a.m., adding that an individual was apprehended near the scene, but the department said the individual's possible involvement in this incident remains under investigation. No arrests have been made as of yet, police said. Authorities had initially said that 10 people were injured before increasing the total to 11 and then reverted back to the original number of victims. Superintendent Sean Ferguson said at a press conference that police officers were in the area, a busy commercial block of Canal Street where the shooting occurred. The officers were on the scene for the Bayeux Classic football game between Southern and Grambling and initially thought they were under attack. Ferguson said that two of the victims were in critical condition. Ferguson added in a statement that the shooting was a cowardly and senseless act and said a $5,000 reward was available to those who provided information leading to an arrest. While this investigation is in the very beginning stages, one thing is certain: we will not stop until we identify and arrest those responsible, he said. So, 10 people shot. Apparently, no one is deceased yet. Two critical injuries, and then some condemning statements by the various people, and no motive or suspect has been apprehended. Or rather, they did they did get someone, but they haven't told us who it was. And even though they have someone, they don't know for sure if they're actually the perpetrator. They're saying that it's an investigation ongoing into their identity and what they had to do with this shooting. So that's the biggest news story I've seen today. Although I think it's going to stay that way because usually the political stuff kind of slows down during the weekend. I saw some stories about everyone's favorite snowman, and I kind of just ignored them because she's at like 2% nationally, so she's not even anything worth covering. Um, Also, apparently it's AIDS Day, which I had no idea because I don't keep up with these holidays. As far as that's really anything for me to comment on, I just find it kind of ironic that a lot of people, I'm not going to say it, it's just people do things that lead them to these kind of conditions, and then they don't pay attention to uh, anything that their own government is doing. And so when they call this a public health crisis and wonder why their government won't get involved, it's because they don't have any pressure on them, because the people are so disengaged from the process of applying protests against those in power. So they let them get away with it, even if they're not intentionally trying to do that. And then The Hill wrote some old crazy article about Ginsburg's health scare, and this raises the prospect of a Supreme Court election fight and whatnot. I mean, she's got one more year to go, and then she can, assuming the Democrats are able to win, then she can retire. And you have Sleepy Eyes Chuck Todd challenging Kennedy, the senator, because he said that Ukraine could have meddled in the election, even though there's absolutely no proof of that whatsoever. Um, it's really amusing. I mean, people just pull things out of their behind. They don't even. I'm not even one of the RussiaGate people, and I still think Russia tried to. It didn't mean it actually worked or that they changed the results, but they were attempting to influence it. This is all really aggravating. I don't know. It's just I'm so tired of and it seems like the shootings are now just always starting to happen on the weekend. Because I remember when we had the El Paso one and the one in Ohio, they're both Saturday and Sunday. And I guess when these shooters have become susceptible to the idea that a lot of people will just be at these different places during the weekends, hanging out here, over there. So they show up and they decide to go out and do these violent acts at that on those particular days. So that's one of the things I just picked up on, that they keep having it happen over the weekend, over and over. It's everyone's favorite time to act a fool and commit some massacre. It just seems like this one wasn't as successful as the other ones, which is good because it means that hopefully no one is actually going to be a casualty of this incident. Oh, I didn't even get to record. I just realized I didn't get to record a video about this yesterday because I forgot. There's a person who is under investigation because they were trying to sell a baby on Craigslist. And in the text, they said, let me see if I can find it. The Hill reported on. I want to put it in here because I still think that story is pretty insane. Uh, Craigslist baby. Here it is. Florida officials investigating Craigslist ad listing newborn baby. This is from last week. Florida law enforcement officials are investigating a Craigslist. Second Twitch. What's Second Twitch? I don't. Oh, I hope nobody is on there impersonating me. Hey, send me a link to this account. Let me see if it's actually mine. Florida law enforcement officials are investigating a Craigslist post purporting to advertise the sale of a child. The ad's author, who claimed to be a state employee with the Florida Department of Children and Families, wrote in the post that the child was a newborn while not specifying the child's parents or gender, according to the Miami Herald. The author requested $500 in the ad for the purchase. Baby is 2 weeks old. It sleeps. Don't make noise at night, the ad reads, according to the Herald. Formula and clothes will give it to you, can give you the baby 4-year-old sister for free. A spokesperson for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement told the Herald that an active investigation was ongoing but shared no other details. We do have an active investigation that started last Friday, the spokesperson said. Sales of a minor is considered a felony adoption violation in the state of Florida, though it is not clear whether the Craigslist post itself constitutes a separate crime. Police are leaving open the possibility of the ad being a hoax, according to the Herald, though one woman has already been interviewed by law enforcement over the post. So you can buy a 2-month-old and get a 4-year-old sister for free. Send me a link to the account, Ruben. I want to make sure that I'm not getting there's no catfish on there. I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter because they couldn't. How do I explain? It would be very easy for them not to be able to, show themselves as me. So it's just kind of disturbing that someone is on there apparently trying to be my doppelganger. So please link me this account if you can find it. I'm very curious as to what antics are going on over there. I'm so tired of social media. Like outside of YouTube, I really don't bother with any of them anymore. Yeah, what new account? Send me the link. I don't to my knowledge have a new one. We're on to catch an impersonator. I did not make one yesterday. I haven't been on Twitch, I think, since maybe 2 months ago. Some point over the summer. So let me see if I can get a link to this. Israeli surveillance networks. I don't dispute that they have connections. All these different companies, because their main thing is money, they suck up to whoever the established person is. No, we don't know anything about them. We don't even know if the person they have in custody is actually the shooter or not. We can infer that it is, but they haven't confirmed it yet. As I was saying, these companies usually, uh, in the position of trying to get as much money as they can, suck up to whoever is in leadership or power. So don't be too surprised when you find out that all these people are just attempting to go out of their way to make as much money as possible. And that's why I said that it's so frustrating how those with power basically choose to uh, not do anything of any courageous nature with it. They kind of turn a blind eye to whatever else is going on. Oh, we want to do business dealings with Israel. Let's let them murder the Palestinians and not say anything or protest. Because if we do, we'll get accused of being anti-Semitic by American officials that don't know what they're talking about, or rather do know what they're talking about because they get paid to try to distort the difference between a religion and a government on purpose. So it's all part of that same pattern. They get to go around here and suck up to whoever's in charge and hope they can jockey for some more coins. And it's always places like if it's a mom and pop shop or some other little small store, whatever. But it's places like Walmart and Amazon. They can afford to not do business with them. I've heard of it, but I'm not particularly well versed in it. So you'll have to inform me of it, or rather inform me of the details. Trying to see, someone stole my name and put it on here. It's really crazy. This is absolutely insane. It's unbelievable. I guess I have to sue them. Someone really took. This is unbelievable. Oh, you mean Discord? I asked you for your Discord number. You can go look at the live show. I said, "What's your Discord number?" And then you gave me the name and the number. But yeah, had me freaking out that like someone took my name or picture or whatever and went on Twitch. So when you get those websites mixed up, there's because people are weird and they like to screw with stuff. It always can tend to get mixed up. I didn't make a second server. I just made it to where you can direct message me because I said there's no point in me having a server where the people who are in there don't even speak. Like I was saying, I don't use any social media other than YouTube and Discord occasionally because I'm just really tired of these websites. I don't really see many of them as having that good of a use. And even with somewhere like Discord, it's when you have those VC chats, for example, and it's 10 or 11 voices talking over each other, then it kind of becomes a distorted, non-productive conversation because there's too many people attempting to talk at once. So it's all just part of a pattern of not being able to function properly. And somebody might say, well, the alternative is Skype, but They don't have the same kind of networking messaging type of thing that you can get with Discord. I don't know, man. All these social media websites, other than YouTube, I would just cast away. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of them, just throw them in the trash. I know. Um, it's also the main place where I see, like, out of all the social media websites I've been on, the most drama has come from Discord. There is something wrong with that website. I've seen people who are on that site and on YouTube who don't even do anything to others, getting different conflicts and trouble on there. Like when I got banned from that server because I wouldn't be friends with the person who was running it. Grown man is upset because some random dude in another country doesn't want to be his friend. Yeah, they had one in New Orleans, Envoy. 10 people were shot. Apparently, no one died. They don't know that much about the suspect. We don't even know if they actually caught the suspect. They just have someone in custody over the matter. Oh, the story just broke 5 minutes ago. Yang raised 750,000 for in a single day. So the story broke 5 minutes ago. Just abruptly showed up right as we were streaming this breaking news. Apparently, his supporters don't like me anymore. I did another video about him. It's I think it's the first one I've done, and it didn't get 100 views. So they're done with me, and it's fine because I don't know. I have kind of a mixed feeling thing about people who just show up for one part of the content and then disappear for the rest of the year. So the more of them you can flush out, I'm fine with that. I think out of that whole group, I've seen maybe one of them try to be a regular person, but it's they have like whole channels devoted to making him seem like he's the second coming of Jesus, so they can go and watch them instead. It is really irritating because I said before that when you try to approach these people with any objectivity and kind of still treat it in a sort of respectful way, they treat you like you're some kind of evil figure. Like when they went after Pacman for saying that he didn't think he was going to win, and I just look at this comment section riddled with all these insults and stuff, and it's like he didn't insult your candidate. He didn't say he was bad. He just said that someone who's in fifth, sixth place month after month probably is not going to, you know, magically just sprout up. But then they try to do their Trump comparisons. I said that's really not good or accurate because by July of 2015, people who were there remember it. Trump was leading in most of, if not all, of the polls for the Republican primary. And it was month after month of him on top. It's been month after month of Yang in sixth and fifth place or seventh place. Yeah, Jason says, I have a issue with Yang because of his ideas on human-centered capitalism, but Yang supporters seem a little politically not initiated. They only get on my nerves when they try to act like he's. So I've said before that I think there are multiple Democrats who could win, on different levels, some that I think campaign better than other ones. They try to make, in some cases, I've had about at least three of them do this. They come over here, and if you say, oh, my favorite person is Sanders or Warren or Gabbard, oh, well, Yang is the only one who can take down Trump. And can you not? It's like, don't try to make him sound like he's Jesus Christ, because the truth of it is, even though I wouldn't vote for most of them, if half of those Democrats running actually campaigned on issues and talked about how the US has been screwed over for the last 4 years and longer, they could win. I'm not going to make the person I like seem as if they're the only one who has a sliver of a chance of actually being able to overcome the RNC machine. It's just I don't like that. What do you mean I need to do you want me to have sex with politics? I mean, I guess if it was a woman, I could probably bend it over, but because it's not, it's a little difficult. So it's not going to be too possible. I know you're very upset by that. I know you're going to unsub and do a stream about how horrible I am for not doing politics, but it is what it is. Yang has also been platformed by people like Ben Shapiro and other figures who I am not comfy with. Well, in the case of something like that, um, I kind of look at it as guilt by association, where if he's not going around saying, "Yeah, you should watch Shapiro. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, all of his views are perfect." If it's just, "Oh, he went and did an interview with him one time," I kind of, because that's the same thing they do with Gabbard. "Oh, she met with Assad. She tried to speak to the Syrian leader and orchestrate a peace deal. What the hell?" It's just the same kind of thing where they try to get you over who you have interacted with. Oh, okay, Ruben just wrote this. Media Matters put out a Horowitz article criticizing Hill and other media outlets because, according to them, they don't refute Trump's lies enough. I meant survey. Media Matters put out a horrifying survey. Well, I mean, why does every network or every supposed left-leaning program have to talk about Trump all the time? And I've said this before, ever since after his first year, I've really tried to limit the number of times that I discuss anything having to do with Trump. Usually, it's some kind of major international policy, a decision or announcement, or something domestic. Like I said, I purposely don't talk about immigration that much. The impeachment stuff. That's why I did the final word on impeachment video. And the only reason I did one this past week was to show that it was going the way I said. Oh, be still. I told you that I was, like heavily considering running for the House against my representative because they're a piece of they're a piece of work. If I was to be very nice, but again, I don't want to try to go and do that and then not have anyone donate. I just said I'm gonna mull it over. So this isn't going to be like, I know you love AOC, be still, but I would have to get 10 times the number of votes she did to be able to take that person out. No, I agree. They've had, what is this, 4 terms? I can't tell you anything they've done. I wonder, will she last more than 2 years? Of course she will. She's in a blue district. You remember that's how it goes, where after you win the primary, and if your district is red or blue, it's just smooth sailing for however many years, as long as you stay true to whatever position you had the first time you ran. So they can run 90 Republicans against her. It's not going to make a difference. And the same thing would be true of any of the Republicans that are in red districts. If you run a Democrat over there, they're going to get smashed. Some places just are not going to flip no matter who you have, because it leans too much toward one party. They are trying to position her for president. Yeah, that's I don't like that, but whatever. I've already talked about how they give her too much attention for no reason. Like, it was kind of cute when it started, last year, but it's not necessary. I mean, I've seen articles devoted to like every tweet she puts out. It's really insane, and it's even more aggravating because I have a person who, when they were critiquing her, said she talks too much, but she speaks just as often as any other representative. Um, the only difference is they don't get coverage for stating things. I have no position on Bloomberg. I just think he's a billionaire trying to buy an election and running that same stupid ad over and over. Are you? Will Texas flip even if it's just more? Oh, you mean O'Rourke's, like more people who are blue dog Democrats? Are you talking about that particular congresswoman? Apparently, he is. Well, I mean, everybody is better than Hillary. Somebody always coming there asking a question. They always want to turn this into an interview. Which one? Biden's given multiple speeches. If he gave a new one, I didn't see it. I think the last time I sat through one of his full speeches was when he had there was that controversy with the, what do you call it, where he stated something about when he was vice president not wanting to get a medal, and he messed up the story in three different ways. That's the last time I saw any full segment of him that wasn't a debate. It's just I get bored with him. Um, Saying he loves when kids jump on his laps. Now kids would play with the white hairs on his legs. I'll have to look into that. That is very. I don't want to call him that because we don't have any proof of it, but I want to see if he actually if this clip can be found. I can't wait for AOC to take more selfies with Pelosi after the next time they fight, because Pelosi won't impeach Trump. Yeah, I don't understand how you can want to tear down the system and then be cozy with the people at the top of it. You remember, Ruben, those what to do about Bernie dinners that the DNC was having? Well, just send the link, and then I'll be able to. I'm not saying I don't believe that this happened. I just want to see it. You ever think some of these mass shooters were groomed by foreign agents / agent provocators? I mean, that isn't that why ISIS keeps saying that that guy was our person, that person who, never left Colorado, that shot up a grocery store. He was on our team. So that's why they do that. I don't think they're actually being able to get around to them, but I don't know. It's because of the internet and anyone being able to talk to anybody, they might be able to. I think they're individuals who are extremely misguided or radicalized. Yeah, because most of these people don't have, any kind. It's always one person doing it by themselves is the thing. So I lean more in the direction of just a bunch of individuals getting pissed off or disenfranchised and shooting somewhere up. Agency of 50 employees who order to follow you in all your social media under different profiles. I post a link and then it goes down. You know what? I've seen them do that sometimes. I'm not the one. You saw me. I had my hands right here. I didn't make it go away. Post it in the comment section. Then, like, go to a video and post it there, because they'll probably be less. They might think it's spam, because I've seen that happen before. People will try to post a link and then it will stop them from doing it. I didn't say all of them were. Be still. I said a few were. That San Bernardino one certainly wasn't. Him and his wife were insane and decided to go act crazy. These mass shooters are these culture war alt-rights. It was talking about earlier this year, and AOC said that Pelosi was a racist because of the impeachment disaster, only to immediately hang out with her days later. Yeah, I don't even like. That's why I said it's. If they're so lucky I'm not in the house, I would call Pelosi an old hag. Man, it would be great, because I wouldn't care about getting a second term or even finishing a first one. I would just, use the position to highlight whatever issues I have with these various people. The strangest one yet still remains, yeah, the Vegas shooter. Well, that's because they kept saying that it's these young guys who have nothing to live for that decide to throw everything away, and then you had an elderly individual, or an individual that was you know, of an older age who had money and was apparently so pissed off he decided to do that. A seat at the table. Did I miss anyone's comment? With no manifesto or any note that we know of. The only thing we have of him are those videos of him walking back and forth in the hotel. The largest shooting in history by an obviously educated man and no reason is given. Yeah, some people just they don't feel a need to explain themselves. They just do certain things. Even if it's something as insane as blowing out a lot of people's brains for attending a concert. Who bought attention from I don't know about that. Well, we already talked about gold diggers and how they're more attracted to coins and dollars than anyone's looks or personality or anything. So probably was mostly that. I mean, be still, even if you have your firearm in that scenario where you go to a play, yeah, cam girls, just like Ruben said. But if you go to a concert and you're down here and you've got you're looking around, make sure that you're protected and whatnot, and all of a sudden some bullets start flying from the sky. Or is your weapon really going to help you trying to shoot from thousands of, I mean, come on. No, Ruben, it's seventh day. That's Be Still. It's him on a different account. He changed his name because Netanyahu found out he was making anti-Israel statements and ordered his incarceration. Well, that's my point. That there, I don't like people always talk about being armed as if it's helpful, but I really don't see how in that scenario, like, what are you going to do if you other than run? I don't even know how many feet that was from atop them. It was some ungodly number, but no regular pistol is going to be able to shoot all the way up there to be able to get this the perpetrator. So I said there was nothing to do in that case but run, flee. Yeah, they have weapons as well. So I said the firearms are really like I have no interest in being around them whenever I don't have to be because I don't see how they're really protecting at all. A lot of times when people stop these various individuals, they use their body, they jump on them and stuff that is more forceful than just I'm gonna stand over here and fire at you behind this pillar. I don't think in any situation you can exactly tell where a shooter is and shoot him. Yeah, that's why my first option would always be to just run, get out. Johandy said he stopped the Vegas shooter if he was reloading. Well, I don't know what does he have, a bazooka? Does he have some new pistol that can shoot 300 miles in the sky? Like I don't get it, but whatever. They are more peace of mind. Yeah, well, Hannity doesn't exactly know what he's talking about on that. I remember Dorr had a skit from about 2 years ago where he was like, "Oh, it's the Shawns, Hannity and Spicer." I just thought that was funny that they both had the same name and they both were close to Trump. What's so funny, Be Still? I want to know what's so amusing. You think misery and suffering is comical? And says the Vegas shooter had more weaponry than the first 5 minutes of first responders combined, probably. I don't think Hannity truly believes his angle. Yeah, he's just trying to say something to make his audience feel comfortable. He thrives on triggering people. Like, that's why I said I don't have a lot of patience for some of these commentators because They just say things that I don't think make any sense, and then because they have these fan bases, they let them, get away with it. Ruben says, "I saw somewhere that the Christchurch shooter got stopped by a gun owner before he got arrested." Oh, well, that's interesting. Then says, "It's like people who are great at debating but don't particularly believe their angle." Well, I don't really see Hannity as being great at, because he runs a show where it's mostly just people on there who express the same view. So I don't really think he's probably that good of a, like the same thing with Shapiro. I don't think he's that great at debating. He just talks very quickly in response to what someone says, and that gets mistaken as him being this highly intellectual individual who could never be wrong about anything or is right about most things. Like imagine if Ruben is in the comment section, he writes, "We need single payer," and I go, "You are right. It's going to cost $5 trillion." He's like, "Well, we do spend billions of dollars in military, but that's not exactly trillions of dollars. How exactly are going to like just if I did that and spoke that way, there would be people who would think, oh, he's really insightful on this." And it says by not really leaning on what he's saying, but merely saying it because it goes against. Well, that's why it's a hyper partisan era where we can't concede anything about anyone. We have to be opposed to them at all corners. That's why when announced my support for when Trump said he was going to get out of Syria back in December, I had people who were saying, you become a Trump supporter overnight. I was like, all right, well, screw it. And it was mostly on Twitter because they're crazy enough to believe that. But I said, I don't care who does something I like as long as it's something I like. Why do I have to hope and pray that it's some individual that I have some huge high opinion of? I don't understand. Ran from that one older guy from England, and he's a bit of a grifter, a bit, just a pinch of a grifter. Hey, I should make Fox News cookies. Add 1 teaspoon of fake news, one pinch of Hannity the grifter. That would be amusing to actually make cookies that are shaped like Fox News people, and then try to sell them online and get sued. I remember I sent the this one chick a picture I drew of Trump, and she told me, because I asked her who do you know who drew that, and then she mentions the guy who did King of the Hill, and I'm just thinking to myself, why the hell would I send you someone else's drawing just out of the blue when I've never done that in the past? That like it's just they're dumb. If Handy was 12 years old, he'd be destroying people's Minecraft creations. He'd probably have a whole channel. Just look at this person's thing. I could do something better than that in my sleep. Oh, Christchurch shooter was known to have traveled to several different countries, including Israel and North Korea. Well, if he went over there, he was very worldly. I would never go to Israel. I would never go to North Korea. I would never go to maybe China. Not Russia. Definitely not. Hell, there are certain parts of the U.S. I don't even want to step foot into. So it's oh, it goes everywhere. There are certain places just don't want to bother with. It's pretty depressing that Sean Hannity and that whole entity's fan base aren't necessarily brainwashed or convinced by the Fox propaganda. I mean, the thing about Trump supporters is if you turn on whatever his position is, then they suddenly hate you. They are willfully ignorant as he is in their support of it. I'm remembering what they did to Graham, where they loved him when he stood up for Kavanaugh, and then 2 months later, when he was rebuking Trump over getting out of Syria, video had a whole bunch of downvotes. They were calling him a warmonger. They were saying he's an idiot, which I don't think is wrong, but you liked him a lot before, and now you can't like wow, that changed really quickly. Same thing with Collins. They loved her when she voted for Kavanaugh. Then they hated her when she voted against, along with I think it was 11 other Republicans, the wall deal back in February. The Dirty Dozen. No, it's conditional of as long as you're sitting over there bootlicking for the president that we love so much, then we like you. But if you the second you step out of turn, hit the bricks. Trump supporters have kind of been filtered into a more extreme people going into 2020. Well, that's why I don't bother talking to any of them anymore. Because what I've realized is that a lot of times they'll write these comments and I'll think, oh, it's maybe I can speak to this person in some rational way, and it just turns into an insult fest, and I'm not interested in that. I mean, I just don't see anything productive coming out of it, and that's why when I was trying to explain why I generally stay away from having, I guess you could call it, debates with people over this stuff. It's because a lot of people don't want to just hear what the other person has to say, maybe not agree with it, accept it, and then get over it. Instead, they want to argue. They want to have a debate. They want to call you a bunch of names for no reason. It's not necessary. Somehow we instinctively saw this coming. Yeah, they doubled down. A lot of people double down. So I said a lot of people. I'm so tired of looking for evidence of things, and you show it to somebody, and they go, "Well, oh, I'm done." I genuinely believe a lot of this climate we are in is a result of Russian and other foreign subversion programs. Alexander Dugin wrote a book in 1991 called "The Foundation of Geopolitics." Seventh Day says, "Dear Leader Forrest Trump, they're going to have Tom Hanks in a blonde wig in 20 years playing Trump in a movie." It'll be called Fake News and the Fake News and the Not Real Businessman, or some kind of ingenious title. I remember that's why I said if it's Warren versus Trump, it'll be fake businessman versus fake Indian. He also goes on to say that Russia does not like Trump or find him workable. They simply know he is bad for the country and will agitate division. Well, that's why I said that if he had such a great relationship with Putin, why did he uh, support the Venezuela coup while Russia didn't? Was that like three-dimensional chess they're playing? Oh, if we take different sides, we won't be accused of having such a great relationship. Remember what I told you before about Operation Galado and Propaganda Do? I think so. Do you think it relates to this, or oh, you're probably going to try to connect it to the foundations of geopolitics, as Vince mentioned that novel. Putin is extremely smart and knows that Trump will allow him to undermine U.S. interest. Vince says, and that the next candidate who is truly good for America should be labeled a Russian asset in the second election to persuade people not vote for that candidate. I mean, they do it to everybody. They did it to Stein, they did it to Sanders. They're doing it to Gabbard. I'm done. Elizabeth Warren is a $5 Indian from the Pocket Change tribe. Oh, she's richer than that. It would be amusing if we actually had elections that didn't cost a bunch to run, and people start electing homeless people as senators. Like this guy's campaign office is the back of his truck. But that would be called anarchy. I mean, if it's a person who's running on issues and they just happen to live in their car, I don't really see the problem with it. Usually they can't win because nobody knows who they are because the media doesn't cover them. Just like with Cenk, I've seen him do one interview about his campaign since it started, what, 2, 3 weeks ago? And the entire interview, they were asking, what about those blog posts from 2000? What about denying the Armenian genocide? I'm like, is he gonna have to answer these same two questions 99 times before we can just get to actually talking about issues? Apparently so. Just like Iran, they probably go, "What about the chick stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think they waste people's time." Next question. That would be a pretty sick democracy. I mean, for society to get to the point where they could be votable. True, but it's like you said, they don't really care about the issues. Yeah, they don't. They're not interested in actually speaking anything that affects someone's life. They want to whine about stupid stuff from people's past. And I told you they're conditional on who they go after. Um, Dore did a video last year, back in January, when people were trying to get Oprah to run for president, where he mentioned how she supported. Well, first of all, she had a show that used to be, tabloidy, and then it turned to something else that is considered more flavorable and mainstream and whatnot. But she was a supporter of going to war in Iraq, and no one holds that over her head. So she gets to have a character arc while Jank got thrown out by the Justice Democrats after founding that stupid group. A lot of anarchists do fundamentally believe in full, unbridled democracy. I do gameplay and talk about various political topics where every gets a voice. Yeah, they don't care about actually trying to help anyone or make anyone's life better. They're just trying to smear people. And I guess with me, it's just a thing of, is it worth the because a lot of people say the scrutiny or whatnot, but I don't care. I've been insulted in every way. I've had people mock how I look, how I speak, what I wear, my background, all kind of little different stuff. I'm kind of at a point where I'm hardened to it. The Jayapal congresswoman said something insanely stupid about Warren critics being sexist. Oh no, not her too. Not her. Oh no, are you kidding me? Ruben, are all these Congress members that I thought were progressive, like, at this point, is it just Roe who doesn't piss me off? Oh my God. You've got that. This has to be a joke. Please tell me you're messing with me. This is some kind of grand trolling effort. Man, this is, oh no. I gotta see what this is about. In a lot of ways, anarchy could be great for the country, but fundamentally, we have already had it. Please elaborate on what you said. I really hope you're messing with me. This is some great gag. They're really doing this. Every single congressperson that I like is talking stupid, or every single one that's supposed to be progressive is acting in a not. I mean, the whole, like, we were talking about this before, the identity politics stuff. If you critique this woman on her positions, you are sexist. Like, man, come on. And now they're doing it. Oh, if you critiqued Warren over her over parts of her campaign, like we do with every other candidate, you know what you are, right? A sexist. Yeah, look, I can't wait to see that article. I hope not. All right, so I'm pretty much tapped out. I will. Kultur tries to pull that stuff from the debates. Yeah, she is not very sophisticated about that, because if that was true, then why have we? I mean, my thing is, I think it's just because Trump won with no prior experience. Everybody thinks they can get in now, so it's less so about Buddha Trash being a dude versus just feeling emboldened because of the Trump thing. So that's that. But yeah, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. I'll do a stream tomorrow. Maybe around this time, maybe at 12, 11. I don't know. Just some time in the early afternoon is what I intend to do. So see you later. And I appreciate those who showed up.